There comes a moment in every person's life when exhaustion becomes louder than ambition, when the pushing, the forcing, the chasing, and the stressing feel like they are draining the soul instead of elevating it. And it is in that moment, the moment when you finally release your tight grip on life, that something extraordinary begins to happen. A greater power steps in, a divine intelligence that has always been present, quietly waiting for you to stop relying on your limited strength so you can start receiving limitless guidance. The truth is simple. The moment you stop forcing life, God begins guiding you. Most people spend years trying to control every detail, thinking that their plans, their timing, and their expectations are superior. But the universe doesn't bend to force. It responds to alignment. Whenever you push too hard, you create resistance. Whenever you cling to your desired outcome, you block the very path that leads to it. But when you surrender, when you release and trust, you open a door that no amount of struggle could ever unlock. Because God's plan was never activated through pressure, it was activated through faith. Think about how often you've tried to control something out of fear. Fear of losing, fear of falling behind, fear of not being enough, fear of running out of time. Fear tricks you into believing that you must do everything alone. But faith whispers a different message. Faith reminds you that you are not walking through life unsupported. You are carried, guided, and aligned with a plan far more intelligent than your own. When you stop forcing outcomes, you stop blocking miracles. When you stop trying to rush the universe, you stop interrupting divine alignment. Everything you are meant for has already been written into your path, but you cannot receive it with clenched fists. You need open hands that are willing to let go of what is not meant for you. Open hands that trust something higher than your temporary emotions. Open hands that release the burden of needing to control everything and allow the divine to guide you toward what is actually yours. Life becomes easier, lighter, clearer when you stop believing that your plan is the only plan. The truth is that many of the things you're forcing today are actually distractions, not destinations. Many of the doors you're trying to break open are not locked. They're simply not your doors. And the rejections, the detours, the delays you've been frustrated by were never failures. They were divine redirections. When you stop pushing, you start listening. You start noticing the signs, the synchronicities, the gentle nudges that were always there. You finally hear the quiet whisper of intuition that has been trying to speak above the noise of your fears. Because guidance doesn't come through chaos, it comes through stillness. There is a peace that enters your life when you surrender, a peace that whispers, you don't need to know every step, you just need to trust the next one. And when you take that step, when you allow your life to unfold instead of forcing it, you begin to see how beautifully everything fits together. Not by your power, but by divine orchestration. Stop forcing. Start trusting. Stop pushing. Start aligning. Because the moment you let go is the moment you allow God to do what you could never do on your own. And in that surrender, life begins to unfold in ways more magnificent than you ever imagined. Faith is not just a belief, it is a powerful, energetic state. It is the highest frequency you can manifest from because faith dissolves the two biggest blocks to manifestation, fear and doubt. When you move your desires from your mind into the realm of faith, you elevate them into a frequency where the impossible becomes possible. Faith does not beg, faith knows. Faith does not panic, faith trusts. Faith does not chase, faith attracts. Many people try to manifest from a place of desperation. They want something so badly that they cling to it with fear. They repeat affirmations, visualize daily, script their desires, but underneath those practices, their energy is filled with anxiety. They are trying to force the universe rather than align with it. But manifestation is not about forcing an outcome. It is about becoming the version of yourself who naturally receives that outcome. Faith transforms your inner state. It shifts you from wanting to knowing. It moves you from scarcity to certainty, from fear to flow, from pressure to presence. When you embody faith, you become a magnet for everything aligned with you. You create a vibrational match with your desires because faith and abundance share the same frequency, trust. Faith is the feeling of knowing that your desire is already unfolding even when you cannot see it. Faith is the calmness in your heart when your physical reality has not yet caught up with your spiritual reality. Faith is the silent agreement between you and the divine that what is meant for you will find you, no matter how far it seems today. The universe responds to energy, not words. If your words say, I believe, but your energy says, I am afraid, the universe listens to your energy. And that is why faith is the key. Faith aligns your energy with your desires. It tells the universe, I am ready. It tells your mind, I am safe. It tells your soul, it is done. When you live in faith, you stop searching for signs of progress because you become the sign. You stop looking for proof because your belief becomes your proof. You stop doubting the process because you understand that divine timing is precise, perfect, and never late. Faith also protects your mind. It prevents you from falling into the traps of comparison, impatience, and self-doubt. When your thoughts are grounded in faith, you no longer worry about how or when things will happen. You no longer measure your worth by your circumstances. You no longer shrink yourself because things are taking time. Faith keeps you aligned with your purpose, even when the path feels uncertain. Faith is the highest frequency because it is the closest frequency to truth. The truth that you are guided, the truth that you are supported, the truth that what you desire desires you, the truth that the divine is working behind the scenes, arranging the right people, opportunities, and moments to bring everything together. Manifestation becomes powerful, unstoppable, when you stop operating from fear and start operating from faith. Fear asks, what if it never happens? Faith asks, what if it's already happening? Choose the frequency that elevates your life. Choose faith, because when you vibrate at the level of faith, you do not chase your desires, you attract them. There is a silent suffering that lives in many people, the belief that they must face everything by themselves. They carry their pain alone, their worries alone, their disappointments alone. They walk through life with a quiet heaviness, thinking that strength means isolation. But healing does not begin in isolation. Healing begins the moment you understand that you are not and have never been alone. From the moment you entered this world, a divine presence has been walking beside you, guiding you, whispering, nudging, comforting, even in the moments you felt abandoned. You may not always see this presence, but you feel it in the moments when something inside you says, keep going. You feel it in the moments when you rise again after falling. You feel it in the moments of intuition, synchronicity, protection, and inner knowing that appear out of nowhere. That is the reminder that you are being carried. Sometimes life breaks you, not to destroy you, but to rebuild you, to break the illusion that you must depend solely on your human strength, to show you that there is a higher force holding you when everything else collapses. You do not heal by pretending to be strong. You heal by allowing yourself to be supported by a strength greater than your own. There is a profound shift that happens inside you when you realize this. The pressure you've been placing on yourself begins to dissolve. The guilt you've been carrying begins to fade. The sadness that used to sit heavy in your chest starts lifting because you suddenly understand that every situation you've survived was never survived alone. You were guided through it. You were protected through it. You were strengthened through it. When you understand that you are divinely supported, something miraculous happens to your mind. Worry becomes lighter. Fear becomes smaller. Doubt becomes weaker. You no longer feel the need to control everything because you trust that you are not doing life alone. You trust that every challenge has meaning, every setback has purpose, and every delay carries a lesson. Healing begins with faith. The faith that every wound has wisdom, every heartbreak has growth, and every disappointment has direction. You're being shaped, refined, and prepared. Not punished, prepared. When you recognize that you're never alone, you stop viewing your struggles as signs of weakness. You start seeing them as invitations to connect deeper with the divine, to listen more closely to your soul, to rise into the version of yourself that was meant to emerge all along. You start noticing the moments where you were protected without even realizing it. Situations that didn't work out because they weren't aligned. The people who left because they weren't part of your future. The opportunities that didn't arrive because something better was being formed. Every no becomes a divine redirection. Every closed door becomes a blessing you can't yet understand. And slowly your healing unfolds. It unfolds in the silence, in the stillness, in the moments when you choose trust instead of fear. It unfolds when you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, I know I'm being guided through this. Healing is not a destination, it's a spiritual awakening. It's the realization that you are supported in ways you cannot see, strengthened in ways you do not understand, and loved in ways you cannot measure. You are never walking alone. You never have, you never will. And when that truth reaches your heart, your healing begins. One of the greatest sources of frustration, disappointment, and pain is the belief that life should be happening faster. We create timelines in our minds, timelines for success, timelines for love, timelines for healing, timelines for manifestation. And when these timelines don't unfold the way we expect, we assume something is wrong. But nothing is wrong. Nothing is late. Nothing is missing. Divine timing is always perfect, and the moment you understand this, your entire life begins to shift. Human timing is based on pressure. Divine timing is based on alignment. You may think you are ready for something because you want it, but wanting is not readiness. Readiness is spiritual alignment, the merging of your mind, your emotions, and your energy with the reality you desire. Divine timing doesn't bring you what you want when you want it. It brings you what you are fully prepared to receive. If you were given everything you asked for at the wrong time, it would not be a blessing, it would be a burden. Some relationships you prayed for would have destroyed you because your heart wasn't healed yet. Some opportunities you begged for would have overwhelmed you because your self-worth wasn't strong enough. Some dreams you desperately wanted would have collapsed because your foundation wasn't stable enough. Delay is not denial. Delay is protection. Delay is preparation. Delay is alignment. Life rearranges itself in invisible ways to bring your desire to you at the exact moment when receiving it becomes safe, meaningful, and transformative. Not too early, not too late, exactly on time. When you let go of your timeline, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. You stop comparing your journey to others. You stop questioning your worth. You stop assuming that slowness means failure. You begin to trust that the timing of your life is governed by a divine wisdom far greater than human logic. The universe knows the right moment to reveal what is meant for you. It knows when you are spiritually strong enough to handle the blessings that are coming. It knows the connections you will need, the experiences you must grow through, and the lessons you must master. Divine timing is not random. It is strategic, intentional, and always acting in your highest interest. When you surrender your timeline, you create room for miracles. You open yourself to outcomes better than anything you could plan. You stop forcing life into your schedule and allow life to unfold according to divine order. You stop asking, when will it happen? And instead trust that, when it happens, it will be perfect. Think about the breakthroughs in your life that came unexpectedly, the opportunities that arrived out of nowhere, the people who entered your life at the perfect moment, the blessings that appeared when you least expected them. These were not coincidences. They were confirmations that divine timing is always working behind the scenes. Let go of the rush, let go of the pressure, let go of the idea that you're falling behind. You're not behind, you're being aligned. You're not delayed, you're being prepared. What is meant for you is never lost. It is simply waiting for the moment when you are ready to receive it without fear, without doubt, and without resistance. Trust the timing of your life. Trust that the universe knows what you need, when you need it, and how it should arrive. Release your timeline and allow divine timing to show you the beauty of alignment. Because when it arrives, it won't just be right, it will be perfect. There is a voice within you that speaks long before your mind understands, a gentle pull, a quiet nudge, a subtle knowing that guides you toward the life meant for you. This voice is not random, it is not imagination, It is not coincidence. Your intuition is the divine whisper of direction, the way God communicates your next step without overwhelming you with the entire path. The reason intuition feels so soft and gentle is because the divine never forces, it guides, it nudges, it invites. Your intuition is the bridge between the visible and the invisible, the physical and the spiritual, the known and the unknown. It is the language of the soul. And when you learn to listen to it, your life begins to unfold with clarity and ease. Every time you have felt something was off, even before seeing any evidence, that was intuition. Every time you felt drawn to something without knowing why, that was intuition. Every time you felt peace in a decision that made no logical sense, that was intuition. And every time you felt an inner pull saying, walk away, try again, start here, or let go, that was not your mind. That was divine guidance.
Intuition often speaks before logic can catch up. Logic needs facts.
Intuition needs truth. Logic needs proof. Intuition needs faith. And the beautiful thing about intuition is that it always knows what your conscious mind is not yet aware of. It sees ahead. It senses ahead. It prepares you for what is coming long before you physically arrive there. Many people struggle in life not because guidance is missing, but because they are too overwhelmed, too distracted, or too afraid to listen. Intuition requires stillness. It requires trust. It requires stepping away from noise, away from fear, away from the opinions of others. Intuition grows stronger in moments of silence when you sit with yourself, breathe, and connect to the deeper part of you that has always been aligned with the divine. When you ignore your intuition, you feel stuck, confused, and disconnected. But when you follow it, you feel guided, protected, and aligned. Doors open with ease, solutions appear without force, people enter your life at perfect timing. Opportunities align naturally. Life starts flowing instead of resisting. Your intuition is not asking you to understand the entire journey, just the next step. It does not reveal everything at once because you are not meant to carry the weight of the whole path. You are meant to walk it one step at a time, guided by inner wisdom that never leads you into chaos, only toward alignment. Sometimes intuition will ask you to leave something behind, not to punish you, but to free you. Sometimes it will tell you to be patient, not to slow you down, but to protect what is still forming. Sometimes it will tell you to take a leap, not because you're ready for certainty, but because you're ready for growth. Intuition is precise. It is intentional. It is the divine's way of steering you toward the life your soul agreed to before you entered this world. When you trust your intuition, you trust God's guidance. You trust that what you feel deeply is not random. You trust that the pull inside you is leading you somewhere meaningful. You trust that your soul knows the way, even when your mind does not. So listen closely. The whisper within you is not small, it is sacred. It is the map to your purpose, the compass for your destiny, the guidance your soul has always carried. Follow the whispers, they are leading you exactly where you are meant to go. There comes a moment when life invites you to stop fighting, stop doubting, stop overthinking, and simply surrender. Not surrender in defeat, but surrender in trust. Surrender is not giving up, surrender is opening up, opening your life, your energy, your heart, and your path to something greater than anything you could have created through force. When you surrender, you align. And when you align, you receive. The life that is meant for you is not built through stress and pressure. It is built through alignment, through becoming the version of yourself who naturally attracts everything you desire. Alignment means your thoughts, feelings, and energy are moving in the same direction as your destiny. It means you are not trying to manipulate outcomes, but allowing life to unfold in divine order. You are not here to chase blessings, you are here to align with them. The dreams within you were placed there intentionally. The desires in your heart were not random. They were planted by the divine to guide your growth, your purpose, and your becoming. But for these desires to manifest, you must release the fears, doubts, and timelines that block them. Surrender is the highest act of faith. It says, I trust the plan even when I don't see the path. It says, I trust the timing even when nothing is moving. It says, I trust the process even when life feels unclear. When you surrender, you shift from trying to control life to cooperating with life. You stop resisting and you start receiving. Receiving is not passive, it is powerful. Receiving requires openness, it requires worthiness, it requires readiness. Many people block their blessings not because they aren't meant for them, but because they don't feel worthy of receiving them. They pray for love but believe they are unlovable. They pray for abundance but believe life must be hard. They pray for miracles but believe miracles only happen for others. Alignment dissolves these contradictions. Alignment elevates your identity. Alignment transforms you into the version of yourself who naturally receives what you once believed was impossible. To receive the life God has planned for you, you must step into a new internal reality, a reality where you trust your value, trust your guidance, trust your purpose, and trust your path. You must release your attachment to how things should happen and open yourself to how things are meant to happen. The life designed for you is not distant. It is already unfolding. Every lesson you faced, every delay you've endured, every heartbreak you've survived, every challenge you've overcome has been shaping you into the person who can carry the blessings waiting for you. Nothing was wasted, nothing was random, everything was part of your preparation. Now is the time to step forward with trust, to release the old identity, the old fears, the old stories that kept you small, to embrace the truth that you are guided, supported, and destined for more. When you surrender your fears, you align with faith. When you align with faith, you align with destiny. And when you align with destiny, you begin receiving what was always meant for you. This is your moment to let go of resistance, to walk with trust, to open your heart, to rise into your true path. The life God has planned for you is not behind you, it is ahead of you, waiting for your energy to match its frequency. Surrender, align, receive. Step boldly into the life designed specifically for your soul. Because what is meant for you is already on its way, and nothing can stop it from reaching you once you are aligned.